Today we are going to discuss the different properties of real number. We have the commutative property, associative property, distributive property, inverse property, and identity property. These properties can help you to perform the given set of integers in operation. We are going to discuss the properties of real numbers. Let A, B, and C denotes that they are real numbers. Pag sinabi natin real numbers, it must be a set of integers. So, we have the first property is called commutative property for addition and for multiplication. So, we are going to define first what is the definition of CPA and CPM. Okay, that is the acronym for the commutative property. For commutative property for addition, let's have A plus B is equal to B plus A. So, meaning, yung unang number mo, si A, dito ay si B. Pangalawang number mo sa kabila ay B, dito ay A. So, if you are going to observe, they are interchanged or nagpalit sila ng pwesto. So, it simply says that the commutative property means that the order of the, what do you call that? Order of the addends does not affect the sum of the given integers. So, let's have example number 1. If you're going to add 3 plus 4 is equal to 4 plus 3. What have you noticed? They are interchanged. So, si 3 na una dito ay nahuli siya. Meaning, pinagpalit mo. If you're going to add, they have the same sum. If you're going to add 3 plus 4 is 7, the same with 4 plus 3 is 7. Meaning, hindi nagbago ang kanilang sum. That is the definition of commutative property for addition. Let's have another example number 2. If you're going to add negative 2 plus 1 is equal to 1 plus negative 2. Meaning, nagpalit sila ng plus. If you're going to get the sum of the two integers, this is negative 1, is the same with negative 1. Meaning, they are the same sum. Because, according to the property, the order of the addends does not affect the sum. Of commutative property of multiplication. So, let's define first. We have the A multiplied by B is the same with B times A. Meaning, nauna si A dito, pangalawa si B. Dito naman sa kabila ay nauna si B, pangalawa si A. So, if you're going to get the product, hindi magbabago. So, let's have example number 1. If you're going to multiply 3 times 4 is the same with 4 times 3. So, this is 12 is the same with 12. Meaning, the order of the factors ang kanilang tawag dun sa number na minumultiply mo. So, meaning, does not affect the product of the two integers. So, another example, we have the negative 2 times 1 is the same with 1 times negative 2. Pag minultiply mo yung dalawang factors is the same with negative 2 is equal to negative 2 to the other side. So, hindi nagbago ang kanilang product because of that. Now, how about the definition of associative property? So, we have the two, associative property of addition and for multiplication. So, let's define first for addition. So, meaning, if you are going to add A plus B plus C is the same with A plus B plus C. Meaning, dito sa associative, meron na silang grupo. So, meron tayong tatlong integers. So, A, B, C. So, magkagrupo si AB, dito ay si BC. So, let's have example number 1. So, let's have A ay 1 plus 2 si B plus 3 si C mo. And if you're going to replace the member of the given group, so si A ay nakahiwalay na siya. Ano yung value ng A is 1. So, 1 plus ano yung B mo? B is 2. So, plus C is 3. So, kailangan hindi magbabago ang kanilang sum, regardless of the group. So, if you're going to get the sum, 1 plus 2 is simply 3 plus 3 is the same with 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 5. Check natin, 3 plus 3 is 6. The same with 1 plus 5 is 6. So, meaning, the group of the addends does not affect the sum because of the associative property of addition. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng associative property of addition. We have number 2, negative 5 plus 3 plus 2 is the same with, ihiwalay naman natin si 2, magkasama si negative 5 plus 3. Ayan. So if we're going to observe, dito ay 3 plus 2, dito ay negative 5 plus 3. Nakahiwalay si 2, dito ay nakahiwalay si negative 5. Kailangan, pag inad ko yung tatlong integers, hindi magbabago ang kanilang sum. So let's do. So bring down negative 5. Then get the sum of the two integers. 3 plus 2 is simply 5. Is the same with 2 plus negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Pag inad ko yung dalawa, this is simply 5 minus 5 is 0, is the same with 2 minus 2, or 2 plus negative 2, pares lang yan. So this is also 0. Meaning, the group of the addends, eto, yung grupo, hindi nagbago ang kanilang sum because of the property. Now, how about the definition of associative property of multiplication? So, let's define by using the given rule. So, A times B times C is the same with A times B times C. Meaning, magkagrupo si AB, sa kabila ay BC. Kailangan pag minultiply ito yung tatlong integers dito, yung product nila is the same with this. So, let's have number 1 example. So, if we're going to multiply 3 times 4 times 5 is the same with 3 times 4 times 5. So, kung mapapansin mo, magkagrupo si 3 and 4, dito ay 4 and 5. Kailangan pag minultiply mo yung tatlong integers, does not affect the product. So, let's multiply 3 times 4 is simply 12. Bring down mo yung 5. Dito ay bring down yung 3, multiply mo yung 4 times 5 is 20. So, if you're going to multiply 12 times 5 is simply 60, is the same with 3 times 20 is 60. Meaning, group of the factors does not affect the product. So, hindi nagbago. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng associative property of multiplication. How about the definition of distributive property of multiplication over addition or subtraction? So meaning, from the word distributive, you just simply distribute, meaning isi-share mo, ibabahagi mo yung value ng isang integer dun sa ibang integers. So let's find the rule. We have A times B plus C. If you're going to apply distribute, isi-share natin yung value ni A dun sa B at C. How are we going to do that? Just simply, A times B is simply AB. And we have A times C plus AC. Kung mapapansin mo, magkatabi na si AB at AC. So, meron silang pares na A kasi shinare mo yung A dun sa B and C. So, this is over addition because of the plus sign. Kapag minus naman, it's the same with A. B minus C is the same with A. Multiply mo minus because of the operation. A minus, i-multiply mo sa C, this is AC. Yeah. So, let's have number 1 example. 3 times 4 plus 5, meaning, isi-share mo si 3 doon kay 4 at 5. So, 3 times 4, multiply mo na siya is 12. And then, 3 times 5, this is 15. Ayan. So, meaning, how we're going to check whether the answer is correct? Pag inad ko yung dalawang integers, 12 plus 15, this is 27. It's the same with the simplified answer. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Kaya, check sila because of the distributive. How about number 2? Negative 4 times 6 minus 2 is the same with, isi-share mo naman si negative 4 dun sa 6 is negative 24. Pag minultiply mo yung dalawa, times negative 2, this will become positive 8. Because according to the rule of subtraction, magbabago ang kanilang operation, magre-reverse. So this will become, if you're going to check, negative 24 plus 8 is negative 16. Pag sinimplify mo to, 6 minus 2 is simply 4. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. So meaning they have the same answer. So because of the distributive property of multiplication over subtraction, dito naman over addition because of the plus sign, because of the minus sign. So kailangan ano. How about the definition of inverse property of addition? So let's define first. So A plus negative A is equal to 0. So meaning, any number added by its inverse property. Pag sinabi natin inverse property, yung opposite sign of the given integer. So we have A plus negative A, the sum is 0. So let's have example number 1. 1 plus, anong additive inverse ni positive 1? this is negative 1. Kaya pag inad ko yan, 1 plus negative 1 or simply 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So, laging 0 dapat. Number 2, how about negative 3? Anong additive inverse ng negative 3? This is positive. Babaliktarin mo lang siya. Pag inad ko yan, always 0. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng inverse property of addition. The sum is always 0. Now, how about the definition of inverse property of multiplication? So, we are going to define the rules. Just simply, a multiplied by 1 over a is equal to 1. So, meaning, any integer, if you are going to multiply by its inverse, or that's multiplicative inverse, or the other name is reciprocal, the product is always 1. So, how are we going to do that? So, let's do example number 1. 3. What is the multiplicative inverse of 3? Or anong reciprocal ni 3? This is simply 1. And then copy mo yung a, which is 3. Kaya 1/3. So, if you're going to multiply 3 times 1/3, or this is simply 3 over 3, that is 1. Kaya 1 lagi ang sagot. Then, how about number 2? 1/2. What is the multiplicative inverse, or what is the reciprocal of 1/2? Babalik-tsarin mo naman sa meaning, ito yung given, i-multiply mo yung kanyang reciprocal, which is multiply by 2. Kaya 1 times 2 is equal to 2 over 2. This is also 1. Okay. So meaning, ang given dito ay 1/2, kukunin mo lang yung 2. Ang given naman ay 3, kukunin mo lang 1 over 2 because of the rule. So always 1 dapat ang kanilang product. How about the definition of identity property of addition? So let's define the rule. We have a plus 0 is equal to a. Meaning, yung 0 dito is called the identity element of addition. Any number added by 0 is the number itself. Kaya a plus 0 is a pa rin. Let's have example number 1. Let's have 5 plus 0. The sum of the two integers is 5. Because any number added by the identity element, which is the 0, is the number itself. 5 pa rin yan. How about number 2? Negative 3 plus 0, this is the same, negative 3. Kasi hindi magbabago ang kanilang sum. Kasi identity element to 0. How about identity property of multiplication? Dito naman, a times 1 is equal to a. Yung 1 naman dito, this is called the identity element of multiplication. Meaning, any number multiplied by 1 is the number itself. Hindi magbabagong product. So, let's have number 1 example. 5 times 1, this is 5. Hindi na bagong product because if you're going to multiply by 5 by identity element of multiplication is 5. How about number 2? Negative 3 times 1 is the same with negative 3. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng identity element. Now it's your turn. You are going to identify the property being used for each number. So don't forget to leave your answers below.